What is going on YouTube? Today we are going to teach you guys how to check your timing and bounce it off your ECU. So your actual mechanical timing from the crank to your ECU. Those can be different and you can't have But before we get to that, I need to swap over to my full exhaust because the race that we are doing this coming weekend, it's a street car class and it requires full exhaust. So I need to throw this exhaust on. As you guys know, I can bounce back and forth between full exhaust and dumping at the firewall. Bailey from B3 Fab made me two different exhausts. So we have a 4-inch dump, which is basically right behind the firewall and it dumps to the ground. It sounds much more aggressive, of course. And honestly, I haven't really felt that much of a difference between the two. Like I thought the full exhaust, it would maybe be a little laggier, maybe not make as much power, but honestly, I don't really feel much different. So really all it is just quieter. So we're gonna go ahead and put our full exhaust on, which is a 4-inch aluminum exhaust. It's very, very light. Check this thing out. So this is Bailey's aluminum 4-inch exhaust. And let me tell you, he knocked it out of the ballpark. It's not breaking welds anymore because we have rubber mounts. But look at this exhaust, guys. I mean, a lot of bends, a lot of tweaks, and it fits really nice and big 4-inch tip. It's 4-inch aluminum all the way back. It's extremely light. I mean, I can pick it up with one hand easily. I mean, I bet you it's not even 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Very, very light. So we're gonna go ahead and put it on the car. It does quiet it down quite a bit. It does sound a little different. But hey, that's the rule, and we got a sticker on. Take this opportunity to thank my sponsor, Race Parts Solutions. They're the ones that hooked me up with that aluminum exhaust. Thank you guys so much. They make extremely good quality piping. They make great intercooler piping. They make awesome clamps that you can hook up and have none of that coupler stuff on your intercooler piping. Hit them up. They have awesome material, great prices, and they'll get it to you fast. Hit them up, racepartsolutions.com. All right, we got her back on, guys. There she is, ready for street class. It's a good thing I got under the car too. Anytime I'm under the car, I usually go over like fittings and stuff. And I had another transmission line that was just barely loose and there was like a drop or two. So we tightened that transmission line up. I'll go ahead and double check the trans fluid when we start it to check the timing, but I'm gonna get in and show you guys how to do this timing. All right, so as you guys can see, ignition timing is 5 degrees plus or minus 2. So you have 2 marks on here. This is the factory. So the white line is top dead center. That means the piston's all the way up. And you can see there's actually 3 notches, and the middle one is 5 degrees. And I think they're saying plus or minus 2 could probably, that means that this guy and this guy might be the plus or minus 2. So this could be, 6, 5, 4, and then 3, 2, and then 0 would be your top dead center. So going over to the fluid dampener, same situation here. We have our top dead center mark, which is by itself, and then we have the 3 marks right next to one another. So the 3 marks is what we're gonna be looking for on the timing light. That middle mark is supposed to be the 5 degree mark. So we will lock the ECU at 5 degrees. So let's go into our ECU settings here. You would lock your ignition with that, and then you're gonna set this to 5. And what that's going to do is it'll lock your ignition to 5 degrees, and then that way, when you actually have the timing light hooked up, the ECU is locked to 5 no matter what the RPM is, and you should be reading 5 on the light. So if you're wondering how these lights work, I actually borrowed this from a buddy, Cody, up the road here. I didn't have a timing light. So So basically what you do is there's a plus and minus for the power. And then this little guy will slip over your wire. Now, if you don't have wires and you have coil on plug, which most of the S2000s do, all of the S2000s do, I do hear that if you just hold this right on top of the coil, that it will pick up the coil. The only other option you can do is get a longer spark plug wire and basically link it from the coil pack down into your spark plug wire. I also heard of guys putting that over like your trigger, like the little loom that it comes in. If you put it over that, it will also pick up the number one. Also, if your timing light has a dial, make sure it's on 0. Some of the advanced lights, you can actually advance the timing so the light is actually advanced to the top dead center pulse. But we don't want to do this in this case. We want to just do 0 because we want to know exactly when number one is firing to get our base timing. All right guys, really hard to do with just me out here, but as you can see those timing marks going by? See how they're really far off? Well, that's because we did not lock the ignition. And it runs really rough when you lock the ignition, so we're gonna lock it. Gotta rev it up a little bit. That idle is right on the money. So as you rev it up, you'll see the timing marks will get clearer and clearer because it's more RPM. But basically you'll see the arrow, and then every time those marks come by, you'll see the light flash. And those marks should, every time you see them, should be lining up with the arrow. I got some eyeliner going on. So it's really hard to do like by myself, but as you rev it up, you'll see them more clear and clearer. But so we just made sure that it was on, and it is. It's right on the money. It's right on the 5 mark, the middle mark. And the car will idle kind of rough, especially if it's cold, when you lock the timing to a really low degree, because the car needs some timing at idle to keep running better. So, but yeah, we are right on the money, so that is good. So if you guys want to check your timing, you really should check your timing with any type of standalone system, because you want to make sure that the ECU and the mechanical timing matches up. If it does not match up, you'll have to go into the ignition settings in the ECU and even advanced or retard the ECU timing so that way it matches your mechanical timing. So very important, because I mean, you could be trying to run 20 degrees of timing, and if you're 3 or 4 degrees off, you're really only running, 16. So that's power loss. So you want to make sure that your timing is on with your ECU. So I hope this video helped you guys. Appreciate it. Come like, subscribe, like for watching, and I'll be back at you with some more tech tips later.